Well, thank you very much, and welcome this morning to the Great Christmas Bake-Off. So it's very important. We are launching two important campaigns for 2025 this morning. So the first one, need to remember this, is put the meat back in mince pies. Okay, first one, very important. And the second one is to put the meat back in Christmas. Okay, that's what we're doing this morning. So the first thing we're going to need to do, it's a very easy bit of cooking, actually. Once you've tried a meat mince pie, you never go back. So what we're going to do is need to do a bit of cooking. So we've got it all ready, if that's okay. Here we are. So I'm just going to stick those on to warm. I've got some mince pies in there that I've prepared, adjusted. Okay, very good. I am going to need some volunteers, though. People are very nervous. Who's that there? How brave? You brave? Yeah, let's have you. Thank you very much. And Amy, thank you. That'll do. That's great. I just need to ask, are any of you vegetarian? Yeah, come as well. Any of you vegetarians? You are a vegetarian. Okay, it's fine. I will steer you quite carefully. So did you know that originally mince pies were very wonderful, substantial, meaty pies? Did you know that? So they had meat in, fill you up all day. And then what happened over time is people gradually put like fruit in them to make them taste nicer. I'm not against that. I can live with that. But over time, do you know what they did? They took all of the meat out. And so it's just raisins and orange peel. That's all you've got left. What a con! So what we're going to do, I've got some pies here. If you would come over, I think those are warm enough now. We've got a little bit of leakage. You can have a fork or a spoon. Amy, it's quite important that you only eat that pie there. Here we go. If you'd like to try. Parents, are we happy with this? Here we go. So if you'd come over, please. And we've just got 6 lovely pies. If you would we just need a little bit of how you're enjoying that. So here we go. I hope they're not too hot. Okay, so Amy is eating a modern mince pie and enjoying it. Jamie, what have you got there? Okay, let's try, you've really gone for the best one as well, Jamie, that's good. Try one of the others as well. This is good. So this is how Christmas should be. This is a proper mince pie. I'm going to show you what you've been eating. So if you just come and have a look. So we had one that was stewed steak. It's quite nice. Then we had a chili con carne one in there, a little bit of flavor in there. We had a chicken curry. Bit runny, that's the one that leaked. Then we did have the dynamite hot chili con carne. Anyone get that one? And then for the really authentic, like how it would have been 100 years ago, it's turkey, but I raided the cat food. There we go. So there we go. So thank you very much. Big round of applause for them. Thank you very much indeed. How about Christmas then? So if we were going to put the meat back in Christmas, what would that mean? Because just like mince pies, Christmas has had all of the meat, all of the substance taken out of it, and it's been turned into an inoffensive, sugary treat. So all inoffensive, whereas originally Christmas was all about meat. And I do not mean the turkey that you're going to eat this afternoon. So here is the theological word for Christmas: incarnation. And we do not need to be impressed when theologians use big Latin words, just like when doctors say the word, do you know the word rhinitis? Anyone got a bit of rhinitis this morning? Do you know what it means? Just means runny nose disease. That's all. Give them a tissue. Don't need Latin or Greek. But this word is incarnation, and you can understand it because it's just 3 words: in, carne, and shun. And we've already seen what one of those words mean, because over here we made a mince pie out of chili con carne, which just means chili with meat, mystery meat. Who knows what's in that? But you've just eaten it. So what we're saying Christmas is in meat shun. That's what it means, Christmas. It's about the event where God took on flesh. It means God in meat. That is what it means. It is less sugary, less inoffensive, but much more substantial. And what's going to happen now is that Max is going to come and read for us. Where is Max? Max is going to read from the Bible about Christmas with meat in. Thank you, Max, very much.
I am reading Hebrews chapter 2. Since the children have flesh and blood, Jesus too shared in their humanity so that by his death he might break the power of him who holds the power of death, that is, the devil, and free those who all their lives were held in slavery by the fear of death. For surely it is not angels he helps, but Abraham's descendants. For this reason he had to be made like them, fully human in every way, in order that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in service to God, and that he might make atonement for the sins of the people. Because he himself suffered when he was tempted, he is able to help those who are being tempted.
Thank you, Max, very much. Thank you. Have a seat. And as that was being read, did you hear all of the meat? So let me just show you that again. So since the children have flesh and blood, that's us, the children, he had to have flesh too. He shared in our humanity. He didn't come to help angels, he came to help human beings. If he'd come to help angels, they are spirit beings, he wouldn't have needed any meat. But he came to help us, so he needed to be made of meat too. Now, can you see why he did it? What it means, Christmas with meat in it. Do you see the word I've highlighted twice there? Which is he came to help us. Isn't that an incredible thought? Maybe after a hard year, maybe after a hard morning, if you've been cooking for the family lunch, if you had all your family round, maybe it's been a hard morning. In our world of difficulty, Christmas means God took on flesh, God in meat, so that he could be with us. And I just want to show you two ways for now that makes a difference. It means that he identifies with us, so he could be the same as us, like us. In verse 11 of that chapter, it says, Jesus is not ashamed to call us brothers and sisters. If you're a human being, Jesus is willing to call you his brother or his sister. He identifies with us. And then second one, it is about sympathy. So at the end of those verses Max read, it says, Jesus, he is merciful. And it also says he knows what it is like to be tempted, because he was too. That's what it means to be a person made of meat, and he sympathizes. Okay, so Christmas is all about meat. It's about God in meat. God took on flesh and blood. And I don't want you to forget that during the next carol. So I just want to do something to remind you during the next carol. And I do need 2 more volunteers, but I should say nothing bad is going to happen to you. So could I have 2? Well, nothing I think is bad. Could I have 2 volunteers? 2 volunteers. We got 1 there. Excellent. Thank you very much. We need 1 more. Yes, thank you. Right at the back. If you come to the front, come and stand one either side of the lovely pie. And so what we're saying is Jesus at Christmas time, it was God in flesh. Here we go. Now, as I said, nothing that bad is going to happen to you. But I do need you to remember what it means that God came. Here's a hat. You happy with my lovely hat? Can I put this hat on you? Okay, here we go. That's just going to go on like... Oh, Helen, can you help me? There you go. Maybe, there we go, and under your chin. There we go, there's number 1. Okay, then this is slightly more difficult. Okay, so get this the right way round. Are you sure you're up for this? The handbag, I don't know. So here we go, on like that. That goes, that is not a hat. There we go, that's lovely. And as you want, really. There we go, and maybe, yeah, here we go. So here are 2 Christmas turkeys. Christmas is God in meat. And we're just going to, can we have the next slide? In our carol, we're going to sing, Veiled in Flesh, the Godhead See. And at that point, I'd just like the 2 of you just to maybe wave. You don't have to stand here. Go back to your seat, just wave. So veiled in turkey, Jesus veiled in flesh. Okay, so we're still working on campaign number 2 for 2025, which is Christmas with the meat in it, which means we can know Jesus came to help us. It means he identifies with us and he sympathizes with us. But there is a third one as well, which is that Jesus came to sacrifice. So, do you see that in our Bible verses? So he shared in our flesh and blood so that by his death he could do a load of things. And he was made fully human so that he might make atonement for the sins of his people. So do you see the logic on that? In Hebrews, there's lots and lots and lots about the Old Testament sacrifices that were done by the Old Testament priests. And Jesus, he is better because he has a real human body to sacrifice. So he had a human body, which means he can represent us truly, unlike bulls and goats and turkeys. And because, I'm not sure they had turkeys, and also because he had a human body, he can die as a man, which is something that he could never do as God. So if you think about my list of mince pies, only one of those pies is not actually about death. Hope that's an okay thing today to say on the day when, the nation eats more meat than on any other day in the country. We might might end up with a lot of vegetarians this morning, impromptu vegetarian lunch. But the sugary, inoffensive pie that Amy ate, that is the one that has 0 death involved. Whereas chicken curry, death. Steak pie, death. Chili con carne, death. Extra hot chili con carne, certain death. And cat food, probable death. It's cruelty to animals if not. But in our verses, we're being told Jesus had a body so that he could die. And that his death does some amazing things for us. It breaks the power of death and the devil, and it sets us free from the slavery of the fear of death. Because of this, we no longer need to fear death if we trust in Jesus. And it means that he can be merciful to us because his death atones for our sins. That means he pays the death penalty for us. It's much less sugary, isn't it? Much more offensive, but also much more powerful. Christmas with the meat in is the end of death and slavery and fear. Now, I also don't want you to forget this point, so I am going to need 2 more volunteers. Pele, thank you. Fran, you're very kind. Come up, please. That's excellent. So again, what we're aiming for is something that you'll be able to remember to remind you that the meat of Christmas is that Jesus can take your sins. So, Fran, heads or tails? Heads. Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry, it's tails. Oh, Fran. Fran, I need you to get in the pie, if you would. Is that okay?
That's the best decision you've ever made, Fran.
Pele, I just need your help to mix all the ingredients. So can we just, let's just get all the ingredients out, if we can. Here we go. And Pele, you need to do some adding, because we've got some extra ingredients here from earlier that I haven't quite used. Okay, so Pele, are you going to add these, if we could? We've got all of the steak and the chili. We've got the extra mince pies, because it was quite hard to do and it all broke. Then put those in there. That's great. And then I also have, I'm just going to show the front row. These are genuinely the giblets from our turkey at home this morning. Here we go. So is that okay? Would you like to eat those? So Fran, how do you feel about them? Is that okay? So we're gonna add those. There we go. They go in there. That's lovely. A little bit on the floor. Now we've got quite a lot of pie here as well. Can we do the pie here? There we go. I'm sure it's not like this on Bake Off. Here we are. Do I need to help you? Here we go. There's a good bowl full of... This is what happens when you take all the raisins out of mince pies. They kind of go in there. They're quite sticky. Like that. There we go. Yeah. It's not ideal. Here we go. Okay. Oh, and sorry, Pele, you might want gloves. Here we go. Here we go. Food hygiene's very important. I'm not sure this will do you much good, but Fran, would you like some gloves? Here you go. That's excellent. Right. Now, so you may know in the Bible, that Jesus... Yeah, that may not work. Jesus talked about his death as like drinking the cup of God's wrath. So we're just going to make that Christmassy. So instead of drinking the cup, we're going to have, well, we thought about eating the pie, but it's quite a big pie. And so actually we thought about, should we just pour it? Should we just make it, we're just going to pour it. Yeah, okay, is that all right? So that's what we're going to do, because in that way, except, do you know, there is one other thing, because actually the whole point of the Old Testament sacrifices was that the animal was killed instead of the human being. They swapped places. And the substitute stepped in. So Pele, I think we just need to swap you round. Is that okay? Is that okay? How's that? How's that? So Fran, you can get out. Is that possible, or have your shoes become a permanent part? Here we go. Okay, there we go. We've lost a little bit of the pie base there. So we're going to ask Pele to get in.
Yes.
What do we think? Are we sure about this? Okay, that's not working.
Wait, I got an idea. How about Charlie?
No.
We need Charlie to go in.
Sure. Let's just test that. So votes for Pele? I'm quite nervous about it. Votes for me? Oh dear. Okay. Okay, so before this happens, we're learning Jesus came in meat to help us. That means he identifies with us. You're his brother or your sister. It means he has sympathy. When we are tempted, he knows what that is like. And it means he came to sacrifice himself, to stand in our place, so that we would not have to.